Welcome back to the quadratic equations topic. In the last two lessons we looked at the two different methods of solving quadratic equations, and now I'm going to teach you how to figure out when to choose what method to use, whether it's solving algebraically like we would with a trinomial and factorising, or whether we have to use a quadratic formula, which is more inconvenient but will give us our answers. So what we use to quickly determine what method is something that we call the discriminant. It's a formula so that when we sub in our values from our general equation, we can see whether or not we're able to solve algebraically. If we are, we'll solve it that way, and if we're not, we'll use the quadratic formula. So you might remember b squared minus 4ac. If we look back to our quadratic, or if we look back to our general form, then we can see a, b and c we can just take from here and directly sub them into the formula. Once we've done that, we solve to give us a value, and then here you may want to take a note of this just to remind yourself. b squared minus 4ac, if it is equal to a square number using the discriminant, we solve it algebraically. If b squared minus 4ac is not equal to a squared number, so any number that isn't a square number, we solve using the quadratic formula. And to do that, we just sub in a, b and c into this formula and solve, and that is it. And then it'll tell us which method we have to use. You do not get this in your formula sheet, but it's quite easy to remember because it is actually part of the quadratic formula. If you remember, it's in the square root on the top. So that's just an easy way to remember it, but it's what we call the discriminant, and the discriminant is what we use to determine which method we use to solve a quadratic equation. So now that you've seen this and you've hopefully taken a note of it, let's go on to actually use this in a couple of examples, just very simple, so you kind of get an idea how we go through these questions in an exam. Okay,